Manchester City became the second English club to complete the treble, winning the FA Cup, the Premier League, and the Champions League all in the same season. What's impressive is that they're not even the second team from Manchester to do it, but what's more impressive is that this is not the first treble rodeo for their amazing coach, Pep Guardiola. Join us today as we take a look at the impressive career of Pep Guardiola, from his humble career as a player to the absolute gigantic coach he is today. Pep Guardiola began his footballing career at Barcelona, joining their youth academy, La Masia, at the age of 13. He made his first team debut in 1990 and went on to play for the club until 2001. Guardiola was a key player in Johan Cruyff's dream team, which won Barcelona's first UEFA Champions League title in 1992 and 4 consecutive La Liga titles from 1991 to 1994. Playing in the defensive midfield position, Guardiola was known for his excellent vision, precise passing, and high football intelligence. He was considered a deep-lying playmaker who dictated the pace of the game from the midfield, often being involved in the build-up of plays and creating goal-scoring opportunities. His style became a blueprint for the type of player required for the pivot position in the tiki-taka system that he would later employ as a coach. After leaving Barcelona, Guardiola had spells at Brescia and Rome in Italy from 2001 to 2003. However, his time in Italy was less successful, largely due to injuries and a 4-month ban for a positive drug test, which was later rescinded. Guardiola then moved to Al Ahly in Qatar, where he played from 2003 to 2005, followed by a brief stint at Mexican club Dorados in 2006, before he retired from professional football. While Guardiola's playing career was successful, particularly during his time at Barcelona, it's as a coach that he truly made his mark on the world of football, becoming one of the most respected and successful managers in the game's history. After retiring as a player, Pep Guardiola began his managerial career at Barcelona B in 2007. He quickly earned a reputation for his tactical acumen and ability to develop young talent. In 2008, Guardiola was promoted to manage Barcelona's first team. Implementing a position-based style of football known as tiki-taka, it was in 2009 that Barcelona won the historic treble and first of Guardiola's career, and he became the youngest ever manager to win the European competition. It was a time of absolute and utter Barcelona domination, where you could barely get your hands on the ball if you played against them, let alone beat them in a football match. The famous tiki-taka to this day is the epitome of domination in football and will probably continue to be in years to come. Under Guardiola, Barcelona continued to dominate both domestically and in Europe. They won the La Liga 3 times consecutively, the UEFA Champions League twice, 2 UEFA Super Cups, and 2 FIFA Club World Cups, among other titles. Guardiola left Barcelona in 2012, citing exhaustion after winning 14 trophies in just 4 seasons with the club, making him the most successful Barcelona manager. After a year-long sabbatical in New York, he returned to coaching at Bayern Munich in 2013. Here he continued his domestic success, winning the Bundesliga in each of his 3 seasons. His team also won 2 DFB Pokals, a UEFA Super Cup, and the FIFA Club World Cup. While in Munich, however, Guardiola's Bayern struggled to replicate Barcelona's European success, reaching the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League in each of his 3 seasons but never progressing further. Bayern Munich didn't get accustomed to the tiki-taka style of play, and it required a lot more time than Barcelona for Guardiola to implement it. This, combined with injuries and key moments of very important players like Robben and Ribéry and very high expectations from the Bayern board, meant that Bayern will struggle outside of the Bundesliga, and so Pep left the Bavarian city after 3 years. In February 2016, it was announced that Guardiola would be leaving Bayern at the end of the season to join Manchester City, marking the start of probably his most successful tenure as a manager. Of course, he brought with him the famous play style, emphasizing high ball possession, aggressive pressing, and fluid player movement. While initially there were challenges to implementing the tiki-taka in the Premier League, Guardiola was able to successfully adapt it to the English game. He also made several key signings to mold the team to his style. Players like Ederson, a goalkeeper comfortable with the ball at his feet, and fullbacks Kyle Walker and Benjamin Mendy were instrumental in this transformation. And the City team under Guardiola was known for its attacking prowess, with players like Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, and Sergio Aguero excelling in this system. He also played a key role in the development of young talents like Phil Foden and Gabriel Jesus. Guardiola's first season at Manchester City, from 2016 to 2017, was trophyless, but this was followed by an extraordinarily successful period. In the 2017-2018 season, Manchester City became the first Premier League team to reach 100 points in a single season, winning the league title with 5 games to spare. This was followed by their most successful season until then, the 2018-2019 season, which saw Manchester City complete an unprecedented domestic treble, winning the Premier League, FA Cup, and the League Cup. They also won the 2019 Community Shield, effectively winning every domestic honor available in English men's football in a single year. In the 2019-2020 season, while Liverpool won the Premier League convincingly, in the interrupted season due to COVID-19, Manchester City won the League Cup and reached the quarter-finals of the Champions League, where they were eliminated by Lyon. The 2020-2021 season saw Manchester City reclaim the Premier League title, as well as winning the League Cup and reaching the final of the Champions League for the first time in their history, although they were defeated by Chelsea in one of the rare matches in Guardiola's career, where he completely missed the tactic by not starting a classic striker. After a calm 2021-2022 season where Manchester City only won the Premier League and didn't have any noticeable results in the other competitions, Guardiola prepared the team for another season in which they will compete on all fronts. The 2022-2023 season started slow on the Premier League front, but Man City focused on the other fronts, knowing that their main rivals, Arsenal's inexperience and short bench, will come to bite them in the leg towards the end of the season. So Manchester City just played enough to be behind Arsenal at all times, applying the pressure, and eventually, the young Gunners cracked, while City put their foot on the gas in the second part of the season, winning 12 of their last 14 games, including a convincing 4-1 victory against Arsenal to claim the title, leaving them only to focus on the Champions League and the FA Cup. They beat United 2-1 in the FA Cup final and Inter 1-0 in the Champions League, and Guardiola became the first ever coach to win the treble with 2 different teams. Guardiola's tactical genius and game-changing contributions not only painted a vivid image of his coaching prowess, but also elevated him into the upper echelons of football's rich history. Yet it was last week's triumphant victory, Guardiola's 3rd Champions League win, that propelled him onto an even higher pedestal. This gentleman from Saint-Pédore, his name synonymous with tactical brilliance, etched his name alongside the pantheon of football's greatest coaches. This European Cup, a crowning jewel in his illustrious career, marked his 35th title, edging past the tally of Mircea Lucescu, the Romanian maestro, with 34 to his name. With this achievement, Pep Guardiola ascends into a different realm of managerial greatness, and the only figure casting a shadow on this monumental accomplishment is Sir Alex Ferguson, the legendary Scotsman whose enviable collection of 49 trophies seems like a distant peak. But Pep, at the spry age of 52, can afford to dream of this Everest of football achievements. Naturally, some purists may argue that the caliber of the titles is of greater importance. One could bring up the example of Carlo Ancelotti with his quartet of Champions League victories, contrasting it with Lucescu, who, despite his plethora of titles, never clinched the European Cup. Yet no one can deny the extraordinary feat achieved by Pep. With this recent European trophy, he stands shoulder to shoulder with Bob Paisley and Zinedine Zidane, both legendary figures, each with a trio of Champions League titles under their belts. However, this coveted honor is still firmly in the grasp of Ancelotti, with his impressive tally of 4 Champions League victories. Adding another feather to his cap, Pep now also stands as the 6th coach to claim the Champions League with 2 distinct teams. He stands in esteemed company alongside Ernst Happel, Ottmar Hitzfeld, Jose Mourinho, Jupp Heynckes, and Ancelotti himself. Guardiola, having guided Barcelona and Man City to European glory, truly earns his place in this select group. Moreover, Pep's most recent victory marked his 2nd treble, a feat he first achieved with Barcelona in 2008 and 2009. The triumphant run of the 22-23 Premier League, the FA Cup, and this Champions League places him squarely in the spotlight as one of football's greatest figures of the season. Pep Guardiola, the boy from Saint-Pédore, has conquered it all, and rightly so. What do you think? Is Guardiola the best coach ever? Let us know in the comments below, and thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.